The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, UNU Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show. Hello, and welcome to an all-new episode of Talk Time with Val in our brand new 2017. And can I take a moment to say Happy New Year! I hope everybody is having a fantastically wonderful, brilliantly beautiful New Year. And since I don't live in Peppy Land, I know that most people probably are not. Life goes on. You have work, you have kids, you have stress, you have ailments, illnesses, a lot of things that are happening. You have heartbreaks and you have, people who just enrage you. It's pretty much just a normal day for a lot of people. Right, Jimmy? Yeah. I don't know if Jimmy's there. Okay, but for a lot of people, like me, the new year signifies something. It means that, you know what, here's a chance for me to do something over, for me to have a brand new start. Here's a chance for me to grab the bull by the horns and take control of this bastard, because it's been getting out of control, right? And everybody starts the new year, not everybody, but a lot of people start the new year with resolutions and, with good intentions and everything else. And it's I'm gonna quit smoking, or I'm gonna lose 20 pounds, or I'm gonna climb a mountain. Meanwhile, I'm terrified of heights. Or you know what I'm saying. I'm going to learn a new trade. Learning a new trade and you're learning a new skill, people generally, when they make that resolution, that type of resolution, they will accomplish it, right? But the little things, I'm going to lose 20 pounds. You might think in 365 days to lose 20 pounds ain't such a big deal to be able to do that, right? Wrong. Excuse me. It's just one of those resolutions that go out the window. I'm gonna curse less. Jimmy, is that your resolution this year?
I don't have one.
I tell you what, Jimmy, I want to give you a resolution. Will you do this for me, Jimmy? Take out a big old mason jar, and every time you swear, I want you to put a nickel in it for me. Just a nickel.
I don't have any nickels.
You don't have any nickels? Well, you know what? You're going to have... Why are you breaking up so much? Am I coming through really badly to you too?
I don't know why right now.
Okay, because we cannot understand you. You're coming through extremely robotic. Am I breaking up? Am I coming through robotically, or can you hear me properly?
No, you're coming in. I don't know what's going on.
Huh. Do you have some bad weather in there or something?
Hello?
Hello?
Is it better?
Much better. What'd you do?
Shut my microphone off and turned it on.
Okay. So, yeah, we can actually hear you now. You don't sound like some dispossessed alien from the 15th dimension trying to patch through the 12th universe. Okay, what was I saying? Yeah, you don't have nickels? Well, you know what? Go to the gas station and change $1. Oh, no, actually, to be on the safe side, you go to the gas station and change about $5 or $20 in your case. Every time you swear, put a nickel.
I don't make that much money a week.
Just a nickel, Jimmy. Put a nickel in the jar every time you swear.
Like I said, it'd be a lot of nickels.
A lot of nickels, I know. I was thinking I could say a penny and I'd still make a killing with Jimmy. But yeah, a lot of people have resolutions, and they're so gung ho. They're so excited and determined to actually, do these things. To actually, they resolve to accomplish these things in the new year. And for the most part, it goes for a lot of people. What were my resolutions last year? One of my resolutions last year was to not let things get to me. I resolved to I wouldn't say toughen up emotionally, but I would say that I resolved to not take people's baggage on. Like before, I would worry about everything, somebody had a bad day, somebody said something, and I wouldn't think about it like something was going on with them and that's why they're being negative. I would completely own their baggage. Last year I made a resolution and I no longer own baggage. And you know what? For the most part for the year, I sucked at that resolution. But because I kept trying, I think it was better, and this year I will resolve to do the same. But there's like a lot that we fail at in our past resolutions. And I think the reason that we fail at those resolutions is not lack of willpower or anything else like that. I think it's just simply that we set ourselves up to fail. Like, we make a resolution like I'm going to lose 20 pounds or 50 pounds or whatever it is, right? Well, how are you going to do that? You resolve to do it. How are you going to do it? Are you going to diet? Are you going to exercise? You have a year to lose 20 pounds. What can you do? Are you going to do the exact same things you do now and just be like, well, it's my resolution. I have until the end of the year. Or are you going to actually try to make significant changes? I'll tell you something. If you want to lose 20 pounds, the easiest way to do it that I know of is to cut your calories. And I'm not saying go on some kind of wave fad diet or anything, but simply substituting healthier fats in your diet, simply substituting low-calorie dishes for higher-calorie dishes, things with more potency and flavor, and not eating, like, you take your body weight. If you want to maintain your body weight, you take whatever your body weight is, multiply it by 100. So, sorry, multiply it by 10. So, let's say you're 150 pounds and you want to maintain your body weight, but you're not active and you're sitting still. You multiply that by 10, it's 1,500. That's the amount of calories you take in to maintain the body weight that you're at. Let's say you want to drop some weight, then at 1,500 calories, you're eating that's less than your recommended daily amount. So you're going to need to increase your activity level. Let's say you're 200 pounds or 250 pounds and you want to lose weight, you want to drop weight, then simply cut your calories by a little bit. So eat 2,500 calories for the day. Eat 2,300, 2,200, or 2,000, and you will naturally drop and lose weight. But you have to make a plan and if you're making a resolution, you can't just say this is what I want to do and that's it. You have to actually make a plan. Jimmy, do you have any resolutions?
No, I'm perfect.
Are you really?
No, but I'm not making no resolutions that I'm only going to break.
Well, it's not a matter of breaking them. A resolution isn't a hard and fast rule, but it's something that we endeavor towards because we see something in ourselves that we need to change. Like, how about I resolve to try to not get enraged as often, or I resolve to try to deal with my rage. Because I don't want you to give yourself a heart attack this year, Jimmy. I actually worry sometimes that you're going to stroke out or have a heart attack when you get really, really angry.
That's the last thing on my mind. Well, the adrenaline keeps me living, that's all.
No, but the thing is, I get worried. So, I mean, how about we find some techniques to help you with the rage? so that when you are raging out, we did find some. We had a couple shows dedicated to controlling Jimmy's rage. He just never resolved to actually do any of those things. Did you ever do any of those things? The breathing, the laughing, the adjustment techniques, any of them that we had discussed?
I don't even remember discussing them.
Oh my gosh. This is what happened. I do a ton of research, dedicate an entire show to helping Jimmy, and it's out there.
It was a laughing thing.
That was just me giggling at how life is.
No, you said something about one of the techniques was laughing.
Oh, belly laughing. Yeah. If you find yourself getting angry, right? Have a trigger, something that always makes you laugh or smile, and force yourself to laugh out loud. Like, just 10 seconds of laughing. Like, literally, right now I'm not saying anything funny, right? But go... It sounds fake as, crap, right? But the thing is, the more you laugh, the more endorphins you release. It actually sends out calming sensations. You can calm yourself down. Plus, when you're laughing, it forces your body to take deeper breaths and you oxygenate better, right? So it's just a neat little trick to turn chaos and disharmony into something positive for yourself. If you force yourself to laugh for 10-second bursts every little bit, you'll find yourself laughing more often and, for real, not just fake laughing. Anyway, so New Year's resolutions for 2017. Let's see. Lots of people have lots of resolutions. Let's discuss some of these. Well, first of all, let's discuss where this thing came from in the first place, right? This resolution thing. To get into that, we're going to discuss what New Year's Day, like the history of New Year's Day, what it is, what it was, and what it can be. Excuse me. In 45 BC, New Year's Day is celebrated on January 1st for the first time in history as the Julian calendar takes effect. Soon after becoming a Roman dictator, Julius Caesar decided that the traditional Roman calendar was in dire need of reform. Introduced around the 7th century BC, the Roman calendar attempted to follow the lunar cycle but frequently fell out of phase with the seasons and had to be corrected. In addition, the pontifices, the Roman body charged with overseeing the calendar, often abused its authority by adding days to extend political terms or interfere with elections. In designing his new calendar, Caesar enlisted the aid of Sosigenes, an isn't that a really weird name though? Sosigenes, an Alexandrian astronomer who advised him to do away with the lunar cycle entirely and follow the solar year, as did the Egyptians. The year was calculated to be 365 and 1/4 days, and Caesar added 67 days to 45 BC, making 46 BC begin on January 1st rather than in March. He also decreed that every 4 years a day be added to February, thus theoretically keeping his calendar from falling out of step. Shortly before his assassination in 44 BC, he changed the name of the month Quintilis to July, or Julius, July after himself. Later, the month of Sextilis was renamed Augustus, or August, after his successor. Celebration of New Year's Day in January fell out of practice during the Middle Ages, and even those who strictly adhered to the Julian calendar did not observe the New Year exactly on January 1st. The reason for the latter was that Caesar and Sosigenes failed to calculate the correct value for the solar year as 365.242199 days, not 365.25 days. Thus, an 11-minute-a-year error added 7 days by the year 1000 and 10 days by the mid-15th century. The Roman Church became aware of this problem, and in the 1570s, Pope Gregory VIII Gregory the 13th, commissioned Jesuit astronomer Christopher Clavius to come up with a new calendar. In 1582, the Gregorian calendar was implemented, omitting 10 days for that year and establishing the new rule that only one of every 4 centennial years should be a leap year. Since then, people around the world have gathered en masse on January 1st to celebrate the precise arrival of the new year. I think that's pretty cool. I personally love history. I don't know if anybody else got anything out of that, but I'll tell you this. What I take from that is that man came up with the January 1st being the first of your new year. And it is, calendrically speaking, if that's even a word, by the calendar, it's the new year. But hell, people, it's your freaking life. You can begin a new day every day. Every day you can get up and say, today is the first day of the rest of my life. That's your new year. Your new year could start on December 31st. It can start on January 1st. It can start on May 12th. It doesn't matter. It's your new year. Now, if you want to celebrate with everybody else, yeah, it's January 1st. But making your resolutions, taking grasp and taking hold of your life and making changes can happen anytime. Let's say you missed the bus with the New Year's stuff this year. Like, you didn't get to have an old year's night party to say bye-bye to the old year and hello to the new year. Whatever happened. You lost your job, you didn't have money, your family wasn't around, friends weren't around, whatever. Why do you have to have a New Year's party on New Year's Day? Jimmy, do you know?
You have it on New Year's Eve, not New Year's Day.
Some
it
people
usually lasts till the New Year's Day.
Okay, so why do you have to have it on New Year's Eve? Because it's tradition to count it down, right?
Right.
To say goodbye to the old year and hello to the new year. But if your family and friends are out of town on a cruise, whatever it might be, or, there was ice and sleet and snow going on, does that mean that you can't still have a New Year's celebration?
I mean, you can always say Happy New Year.
No, but you could still have a party.
Okay.
Why not? If I were to call you and say, hey, Jimmy, on, let's see. So the new year to this year, right, started on Sunday. So if I were to say that on Saturday, we're having the end of the first week of the New Year party, right? So we're having our first of 1 of 52 party. And I call it the 1 of 52. And all you hear is party. And you come and basically I have a New Year's theme. I have 1 week old, baby pictures all over the place. A happy new, it's still a new year, isn't it? I have a ton of good luck food and little gift baskets for everybody. Are you going to enjoy the party less because it's not Old Year's night? Or New Year's Eve?
Well, when would you do it?
Saturday on the 7th or the 2nd, the 14th, whatever. It doesn't matter whenever everybody was available. See, that's the thing. Tradition is fine and well and good. And you want to have what we call it back in Trinidad, an Old Year's party, right? You guys call it a New Year's Eve. We call it New Year's Eve too sometimes. But the whole point of it is to welcome the new year. So, okay, you missed the boat on saying goodbye to the old year. Why do you need a reason to get together with friends and family and celebrate something? Hey, as far as I'm concerned, if a baby is born and it's a week old, it's still a baby. Okay? When a kid is like a year old, it's still a baby. You get what I'm saying? You can still celebrate that baby. The year is still new. You can still celebrate that. So, for people out there who are thinking they missed the boat, whatever. Nope, you didn't. In fact, this Saturday, I'm probably going to have a New Year's party because last year was a little rough for my family. We had between, in December, we had a few deaths. And between Christmas and New Year, we had a couple more deaths, and it was pretty rough, and nobody was celebrating anything. And I mean, how could you? You're grieving, you're sad, you're upset. You know, you're worried about your friends and your family. You're not really in the mood. And my dad usually has this huge blowout for New Year's, and I wouldn't be there in Trinidad for it. But they canceled it because, again, nobody's going to be in the partying mood, right? And typically everybody goes out on New Year's night and they do their own thing, and then around 2 p.m. on New Year's Day, everybody straggles in by Daddy, and you have hundreds of people milling about, eating, drinking, hanging out, and just having a good time. And that's not happening this year. It didn't happen this year. But I say, whatever. On Saturday, I'm going to celebrate. Because here's what I'm going to celebrate. I'm alive. John has a new job that he just started today, and it looks like it's a fantastic place to work. Great people. So we're blessed. I have 2 very healthy fur babies. They're my babies. And I might not have human babies, but you know what? If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. We'll still try. We'll see what happens. I have a home, new home, right, Jimmy? That's something to celebrate, yeah?
Yeah.
I have my health. John has his health. We're happy. We're in love. We have companionship, friendship. We have a lot of really, really good, really dear friends. We have an incredible family. I have a niece who's like my best friend because she's just freaking awesome, Zoe. There's a lot of things to celebrate. So I'm going to celebrate. I'm still sad that we lost a lot of people. But, hey, you know what? Julius Caesar can move over, and the Gregorian calendar is not my taskmaster. I will celebrate my new year when it feels new to me. And in a few days, maybe on the 7th, maybe on the 14th, I will host a little party with the people that I love. And I will celebrate the new year because I will be, hopefully by then, I will be not in shock as much from all the grief that has struck our family last year. Make sense, Jimmy?
Yep.
Okay. So let's look at some New Year's resolutions. People make a ton of resolutions. We were discussing that. Here's a meditation. Here's a resolution I think that Jimmy should try. And I think that he should have to post a 5-minute video every day doing this one. Who's with me? Jimmy, everybody's with me. Just trust me on this, okay? I took a poll, an imaginary poll, and out of 7 billion people, 98% of them think that you should totally do this, okay?
Yeah, okay.
This is my imaginary poll talking here, so you know it has to be, legit, right? You're gonna do it? You're gonna do it?
Yep.
Start a meditation practice. Seriously, I think it'll be pretty cool if you do a 5 minutes a day post on meditation, Jimmy.
What do you mean a post?
Every single day, you come on Facebook and you take a live Facebook video and you post it. 5 minutes a day.
Why the hell would I do that?
Well, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about doing a meditation practice. There are scientific studies that show the many benefits of meditating. To name just a few, meditating helps to improve your mood. It reduces stress. It lessens anxiety. And it even increases your brain's gray matter, which is involved in muscle control, sensory perception, decision-making, and self-control. In addition, once you get the hang of it, meditating is easy to do. So, who's the last person on earth anybody's going to think will meditate? Not the Indian chick who's all hyper and upbeat, right? Everybody probably assumes that I meditate already, and that's probably why I'm so happy all the time. You, however, you're probably the last person on earth anybody would see meditating, yeah?
Right.
So I think for pot talk, right, I think that, or even for Armed, or just as part of my show, I think we should have a Jimmy segment on Talk Time with Val every week because you're a big part of my show. So I think that you should do a 5-minute challenge every single day where it's 5 minutes a video of breathing, relaxing, meditating, where you have it on. Oh my god, I'm so zen. I'm like completely breathing deeply right now, aka yawning. I don't know why. But yeah, I think you should totally do that. What do you say, Jimmy? Every day, 5 minutes a day.
I'm not gonna tape it or record it or whatever.
Well, that's the whole point, so people can follow along, and so that you have, if you have, okay, the only reason I suggested taping it is this. If you do a live feed every day at a specific time, right? So let's say you make it for 7 p.m. every day or whatever. What time do you think you can make it for every day?
I don't know. It's 5, 6 o'clock at night.
Okay, so let's say 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. every day. You're home and you can take 5 minutes to do your meditation. If you flip the computer on and you flip the live video, feed on, you don't have to post it, but record it, because that way you have, at the end of 365 days, you have this full video. I would like to see it. Plus, it makes you like, I don't know, it makes you like, you have to do it because you're taking a video and it's a video journal of it. So it makes you more inclined to keep with the schedule, to do it same time every single day. And it's also scientifically proven that if you have routine, right, it really increases your brain's gray matter. It helps with your sensory perception, decision making, your self-control. It introduces a sense of balance and normalcy to your life. It really, really helps lessen anxiety. It reduces stress. It improves your circulation. I know it sounds really crazy and nutty, but just having routine, some type of routine that you do every day, your body gets into such a rhythmic flow with it at that period of time every single day. Your health improves by a modicum. And if it's meditation, your blood starts flowing more, you're oxygenating properly. You understand what I'm saying? This is why I'm saying, especially with you, Jimmy, you resolve to do something and then in 5 minutes you've forgotten about it because something else has come up, right?
Pretty much.
So that's why I'm saying, that's why I'm suggesting that we record it. Are you game?
Not for the recording. Like I said, I'm going to sit there with my eyes closed. They ain't like I'm going to say anything. Why would I record it?
Oh, no, you do say something before you start it. All right, today is the first day on my year-long resolution to meditate for 5 minutes every day. Today I'm gonna do some breathing exercises. And then you stop talking, you start breathing, you meditate, you have a timer somewhere that you click on, and you just start meditating. The next day, maybe your meditation isn't breathing exercises.
And
maybe
what is meditation?
Meditation is a lot of different things, right? But basically, it is getting your mind completely and totally balanced.
And you do that how?
Synchronizing your mind and your body, basically. Does that make sense?
No, like I said, how do you meditate?
Oh, well, there are a lot of different ways to meditate. Okay, let's see. Well, what do you want to do? Are you meditating to relieve stress? Oh, excuse me, anxiety, depression, anger, insomnia. Okay, so would you also like to improve your focus and your concentration?
Yep.
And your emotional stability and relationship with others?
Yeah, I guess.
And to be happier generally, right? Because you want that less anxiety, less depression, less anger helps you to be a happier person, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're asking, how do I meditate? All right. Meditation is pretty much, like I said, it's contemplating. It is equilibrating your mind to your body. It is basically forming harmony and oneness with, your energies, your own life forces, right? Now, in modern society, people think that it means that you're thinking of something, you're contemplating on something, you're daydreaming, you're fantasizing, right? You're pretty much just focusing on something. And that's actually really inaccurate. So actually what you just posed is a really great question. I didn't think about it because I'm Indian. I grew up with meditative practices, and so just take it for granted everybody knows what it is. And when you grow up with something like that, it's hard to put it in words because you just assume everybody knows it, so you just keep using the same words over and over. You know what I mean?
No.
So, okay, like let's say you say, I don't know, say bear.
Bear?
Yeah. When you're saying beer, it sounds like you're saying beer, right? When I say bear, I say bear. So it's two different things, right? So if I ask you, what does that mean? You'd be like, it's a beer. It's a beer. You're not going to tell me, well, it's a fermented product produced by yeast and carbonation when there is a some kind of chemical change done with or cooking, and then with hops and barley and malt and flavorings and whatever. You're not going to go into it and explain that to me. You're just going to be like, it's beer, it's something to drink, it's alcoholic, it's bubbly, right? You're going to assume I know what it is. Yeah.
Well, bear is like naked.
No, like beer that you drink, a beer.
That's beer.
Well, that's
and
what
there's bear.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying something to drink. And I ask you, well, what is it? I've never encountered beer before. I don't know what it is. You're not going to go into the whole fermentation process and explain it to me, right? You're going to take it for granted that everybody knows what beer is. You're going to be like, it's like, it can be golden, it can be reddish, it's frothy, it's bubbly, it's yeasty, you're not going to go into all of that. But anyway. So that's why I kind of take it for granted everybody knows what meditation is. And then it just occurred to me that meditation is a word that has come to be used loosely and very inaccurately in the modern world. So your question, Jimmy, was actually a really inspired question. When you ask, well, how do you do it? What is it really? In order to know how to do something, you have to accurately know what it is, right? Like you can't go cook a steak if you have no idea what fire is, yeah? Hello? This thing on? Jimmy? I think I lost Jimmy down the rabbit hole. But anyway, I think Jimmy's question was actually a really great one. In today's world, there's a lot of confusion about how to practice meditation. Some people use the word meditate when they think, like when they're meaning thinking or contemplating, and others use it to refer to daydreaming or fantasizing. However, meditation or dhanya is not any of these things. Meditation is a precise technique for resting the mind and attaining a state of consciousness that is totally different from the normal waking state. It is the means for fathoming all the levels of ourselves and finally experiencing the center of consciousness within. Meditation is not a part of any religion. It is a science, which means that the process of meditation follows a particular order, has definite principles, and produces results that can be verified. In meditation, the mind is clear, it is relaxed, and it is inwardly focused. When you meditate, you are fully awake and alert, but your mind is not focused on the external world or the events that are taking place around you. Meditation requires an inner state that is still and one-pointed so that the mind becomes silent. When the mind is silent and no longer distracts you, meditation deepens. From childhood onward, we have been educated only to examine and verify things in the external world. No one has taught us how to look within, to find within, and to verify within. Therefore, we remain strangers to ourselves while trying to get to know others. This lack of self-understanding is one of the main reasons our relationships don't seem to work, and why confusion and disappointment so often prevail in our life. Jimmy, are you hearing all this? Are you there?
I'm here. It's time for commercial.
We'll break for commercial in a minute. Okay, you know what? Let's break for commercial now and I'll come back to this. But what I'm talking about here, Jimmy, this meditation thing, I so really want you to do it. In fact, I'll even, set the time aside to do it every day with you. But let's break for commercial, and then when we come back, we'll explain what meditation is, so how you can actually do it, okay? I'll listen more when we return after these messages from our sponsors.
Are you hangry? Know the signs. Uncontrollable yelling.
Why aren't you egg rolls?
Hallucination.
Sushi.
Pants discomfort.
I hate you, pants.
Hangry. It can happen to anyone. Fortunately, there's Eat24, the app that tells hunger to shut up.
Egg rolls. Thanks, Snoop.
Eat24. In my medical opinion, it's the best way to order food online, baby.
Hey everyone, I want to tell you all about an amazing salon. Joyce's, located at 132 Ferry Street in Everett, Massachusetts. Joyce's specializes in the latest techniques in coloring, styling, cutting, and beach waves. Joyce's features Sukesha all-natural nutrient products and organic color. Joyce's full-service spa and salon, located at 132 Ferry Street, Everett, Massachusetts. 617-387-6688. Specializing in you.
And now, another fresh insight from Roger Berkowitz, President and CEO of Legal Seafoods.
If your wife can't take the time to test your tuna for purity, then why should you take the time to come to a complete stop before letting her out of the car? Just saying.
Legal Seafoods. If it isn't fresh, it isn't legal.
Hi, my name is Amrita Rupnarine, aka Valanissima. Amrita means ambrosia or nectar of the gods. Valanissima means people of divine knowledge. Join me every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern for a night talk with Joe Rocks, exclusively on TuneIn Satellite on Armed Radio Global Network, where we will discuss food, culinary arts, baking, cooking, food preparation and presentation, bringing you a little bit of the divine knowledge so you can create your own nectar of the gods.
Plan your visit to Savino Vineyards in Woodbridge, Connecticut today. It's a family-owned and operated vineyard that grows premium grapes on 8 acres of land and produces a fine selection of wine on-site in a historic barn. Savino Vineyards is a bronze medal winner in the Amenti del Vino International Wine Competition, and wine tastings are only $7. Visit SavinoVineyards.com to find out more, and follow Savino Vineyards on Facebook. That's SAVINO Vineyards. Or call 203-389-2050 for more information.
Hi and welcome back. Now during the during the advertisement, Jimmy and I were actually talking about how you accomplish meditation. What I told you, Jimmy, does it make sense?
Yeah, always it's a goal to look forward.
Yeah. Now, okay, I'm gonna try to explain this, and then afterwards I'll explain this in like my own words, right? Like I'll try to put it down into something really, really simple, like I just did to Jimmy, but. Turning inward, this is what meditation is about. It is becoming so completely unified with the energy of the world around you, being so completely balanced with the state of the energy in your body and your mind that everything in your mind becomes completely silent. You're aware, you're fully awake, and you're completely alert of what, it's not like somebody could sneak up on you. It's not like you fell asleep. It's not like anything can happen and you can't snap out of it. You're not in a trance or anything. What it is that you are so completely energetically harmonized with everything around you, with the universe around you, that none of it impacts on your mind the way you're thinking about it. Your mind becomes completely silent. There's nothing more that can distract you. That's what meditation is. From childhood onward, we have been educated only to examine and verify things in the external world. No one has taught us how to look within, to find within, to verify within. Therefore, we remain strangers to ourselves while trying to get to know others. This lack of self-understanding is one of the main reasons our relationships don't seem to work, and why confusion and disappointment so often prevails in our life. Jimmy, how often have you felt misunderstood?
Often.
And how often does it seem like your relationships just blow up in your face?
It happens frequent.
And how often do you feel confused or disappointed by other people's behaviors, methods? And that confusion and disappointment goes into anger and anxiety.
No, I've never gone from confusion to anger.
Okay, let me put it a different way. When you get angry with somebody, usually it's because you don't understand why they're behaving the way they're behaving, right?
I guess, or I'm getting attitude, one or the other, yeah.
Right. Well, if you're getting attitude, you don't understand why they're giving you this attitude. You're insulted because what did I do to deserve this attitude? And two, you're pissed off because it's like, who are you to give me attitude, right? That's what I mean by confusion.
Okay.
And you don't understand why they're behaving that way. When you're disappointed, but whatever it is. Every single day in every person's life, there is a lack of self-understanding. We don't seem to understand ourselves and why we do things. But everybody fights, right? Everybody does. Everybody gets mad. Everybody has, things happen, right? But there's a lot of people in this world who can say and do really, really cruel things. And sometimes you internalize it, you turn it on yourself. And that lack of self-understanding is the main reason why things don't seem to work out. Why you get confused, disappointed, hurt, upset, why relationships fail. Remember when I told you that my resolution, Jimmy, was that I would stop internalizing other people's anger and hatred and stupidity, and I would start looking towards myself? I said that earlier in the show, right? That was my resolution for last year. Well, it boils down to this. Whenever somebody says something really horribly negative, I'm not talking about something that's productively critical, like you telling me, hey Val, you need to slow down when you speak because you talk like a frickin' monkey on crack. You know what I'm saying? That's constructive, but then it gets a little critical. But what you're trying to tell me is that people won't understand me if I'm speaking too quickly, right? That's constructive. But if you were to just attack me and be like, what the F is wrong with you? You're freaking running around like blah, 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 and nobody can understand what you're saying. Nobody wants to understand, and you take it out on me and stuff like that. I might feel really bad because I think, hey, you know what? He's right. I do talk really fast. And I start internalizing all that negativity and anger. But you know what? That's not my baggage. I shouldn't be internalizing that. The fact that you told me those things is what I need to retain. I need to retain the basic fact, which is that there's one thing constructive in what you said. I need to slow down when I speak. But I don't need to take all the negativity or the hurt or the anger or the curse words or the stress. You get what I'm saying? That's not my baggage. That's you being frustrated, you getting angry. It has nothing to do with me. I didn't force you to be angry. Another person might have, said it in a different way. That has everything to do with how your day is going and who you are as a person, right? But on a daily basis, when somebody hears something really negative or nasty, somebody yells at them or screams at them, instead of picking out the one constructive thing, the one thing that really matters in all of it, they internalize everything. And it goes from being, you talk too quickly, to, are you too stupid to realize that people are going to not understand you if you speak so quickly? Are you so hyper and stupid and just unconcerned and unaware and ridiculous? And they start internalizing that stuff, which of course brings them down, and the negative, stuff just keeps going around in cycles. You get what I'm saying there, Jimmy?
Yep.
So we have a habit of taking things from around us, from other people, and internalizing it and turning it inward. And that's because we have a lack of understanding, self-understanding. We don't realize who and what we truly are. I talk quickly, right? But for somebody to make me feel like I am less of a person or not as smart or something, that's just ridiculous. Nobody can make me feel like that. Only I can make me feel like that if I accept the poison that they're putting out towards me. Because when it comes down to it, I might not be, Brian May, who, by the way, I love you, Brian May. This is the first time for the year I'm saying it, but I say it every single year. You are awesome. You're an inspiration, and I completely, completely adore you. All right? All right, those of you who don't know, and if you don't know, shame, shame, shame on you. Brian May is the guitarist from Queen, and he's an astrophysicist, as well as being like a hardcore rocker, beautiful individual. And I freaking love him. That's just how it is. Deal with it. But anyway, I'm not brilliant. I can't play guitar. I'm not blah, 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 but I'm not stupid. I might be ignorant of certain things, but hey, I can learn them. So applying the word stupid to me is not gonna fly. Just like applying the word stupid to Jimmy is not gonna fly. Jimmy, do you know how upset I get when people, when you're having conversations with people and they say personal, hurtful things to you? Have you ever noticed how upset I get?
You take it too personal.
When people say things to you, I take it personal, yes, because the thing is, I think people see what they want to see with you, and they don't actually see who you are. I don't think you see who you are for the most part.
Probably not.
You're not stupid.
I don't think so.
I know you're not stupid. I have talked to people who are college graduates, who are, whatever, really tops in their field. And they're not as smart as you in some things. Your being smart has to do with two things. One, you don't think that you're too good to learn. And two, when you're sober, you're more than willing to learn. Look things up. Check with facts. You're not so fixated on something that you completely disregard anybody else. Make sense?
Yeah, that's when I usually calm down and think about it.
Yeah.
That's usually because I'm stoned.
Well, what I'm saying is that when it comes down to it, you're willing to open your point of view up to see the other person's side. Not saying that you're going to change your mind or change what you think or feel, but you're willing.
I try to see the other side.
You're willing to see the other side, exactly. And that, to me, that means that you're smart. It means that you're capable. You enjoy learning, you ask questions, you do research, you're intelligent. So when people call you stupid, I get really, really angry because what they're saying is not that you are stupid, but that you're acting stupidly in that moment, and who the hell are they to judge? And then I get really, really mad. So we need to work on that this year. with your interaction with other people, with my interaction with you, with your interaction with me. But mostly it's when I listen to the other shows and I hear their interaction with you or how people refer to you. I do not like it. So that's why I'm thinking meditation. Listen, you asked me a great question. You said, what is meditation? How do I do it, right? Very little of the mind is cultivated by our formal education system. The part of the mind that dreams and sleeps, the vast realm of the unconscious, which is the reservoir for all of our experiences, it remains unknown and undisciplined. It is not subject to any control. It is true that the whole of the body is in the mind, but the whole of the mind is not in the body, except for the practice of meditation. There is no method to truly develop control over the totality of the mind. Does that make sense? Basically, the mind is this huge, vast, unknown spatial territory.
Right.
What you can think or conceive, I mean, the things, you never have complete control, is what they're saying, over your entire mind. The goal of meditation is to go beyond the mind and experience our essential nature, which is described as peace, happiness, and bliss, or nirvana. But as anyone who has tried to meditate knows, the mind itself is the biggest obstacle standing between ourselves and this awareness. The mind is undisciplined and unruly, and it resists any attempts to discipline it or to guide it to a particular path. The mind has a mind of its own. That is why many people sit for meditation and experience only fantasies, daydreams, or hallucinations. They never attain the stillness that distinguishes the genuine experience of deep meditation. We are taught how to move and behave in the outer world, but we are never taught how to be still and examine what is within ourselves. When we learn to do this through meditation, we attain the highest of all joys that can ever be experienced by a human being. All the other joys in the world are momentary, but the joy of meditation is immense and everlasting. This is not an exaggeration. It is a truth supported by the long line of sages, both those who renounced the world and attained truth, and those who continued living in the world yet remain unaffected by it. Meditation is a practical means for calming yourself. Let's go over that again. Meditation is a practical means for calming yourself, for letting go of your biases and seeing what is, openly and clearly. It is a way of training the mind so that you are not distracted and caught up in its endless churning. Meditation teaches you to systematically explore your inner dimensions. It is a system of commitment, not commandment. You are committing to yourself, to your path, and to the goal of knowing yourself. But at the same time, learning to be calm and still should not become a ceremony or religious ritual. It is a universal requirement of the human body. So how do you cultivate stillness? Now, Jimmy, would you say you're kind of a hyper person or no?
Yes.
Do you think it's possible for you to be still, not actually doing anything, watching TV, focusing on anything, just completely still?
While we're on the toilet.
You don't think about anything?
I have music playing solitaire, but...
Well, that's what I'm saying. Do you think that you can be completely still for 5 minutes a day? 10 minutes?
I don't see why not.
Okay, learning how to be still is the method of meditation. The process of cultivating stillness begins with the body. In the yoga tradition, you are guided by a competent teacher to keep your head, neck, and trunk, which is your torso, straight while sitting in a meditative posture or an asana. When you have learned to be comfortable in this posture, you should form a regular habit of practicing in the same posture at the same time and at the same place every day. Find a simple, uncluttered, quiet place where you will not be disturbed. Sit on the floor with a cushion under you or in a firm chair with your back straight and your eyes closed. Then bring your awareness slowly down through your body, allowing all of the muscles to relax except those that are supporting your head, neck, and back. Take your time and enjoy the process of letting go of the tensions. Meditation is the art and science of letting go, and this letting go begins with the body and then progresses to the thoughts. Once the body is relaxed and at peace, bring your awareness to your breath. Notice which parts of your lungs are being exercised as you breathe. If you are breathing primarily with your chest, you will not be able to relax. Let your breathing come primarily through the movement of the diaphragm. Continue to observe your breath without trying to control it. At first, the breath may be irregular, but gradually it will become smooth and even without pauses and jerks. Meditation is a process of giving your full attention to whatever object you have chosen. In this case, you are choosing to be aware of the breath. Allow yourself to experience your breathing in an open and accepting way. Do not judge or attempt to control or change it. Open yourself so fully that eventually there is no distinction between you and the breathing. In this process, many thoughts will arise in your mind. Am I doing this right? When will this be over? Perhaps I should have closed the window. I forgot to make an important call. My neck hurts. Hundreds of thoughts may come before you, and each thought will call forth some further response. A judgment, an action, an interest in pursuing the thought further, an attempt to get rid of the thought. At this point, if you simply remain aware of this process instead of reacting to the thought, you will become aware of how restless your mind is. It tosses and turns like you do on a night when you cannot fall asleep. That is only a problem when you identify with the mind and react to the various thoughts it throws at you. If you do, you'll be caught in a never-ending whirlwind of restless activity. I've been practicing a lot of meditation today. I've allowed my breathing to basically take over, which is why I'm yawning so much. Sorry. If you simply attend to those thoughts when they arise without reacting, or if you react and attend to the reaction, then they cannot really disturb you. Remember, it is not the thoughts that disturb you, but your reaction to them. So, pay attention. So you got what I was saying there, Jimmy? Your mind will naturally drift, right?
Yeah.
It's normal for your mind to drift. But, like right now, are you thinking about anything, or are you just listening to my voice?
Listening to the cat scratch the sink.
So you're not even listening to me? I'm hurt.
No, I'm listening.
Okay. So your mind will wander. It'll focus on, a jumble of 50 million different thoughts. Point is to not react to those thoughts. To not focus on it. To completely bring yourself back from those thoughts to focusing on the little thing. Focusing on your breathing. Focusing on, where your breath is coming from. How your lungs expand. How your diaphragm pushes. Because if you're breathing from your lungs, it's not the most natural breathing. You should be breathing from your diaphragm. Now, that's just part of it. And the part we just discussed was how to cultivate stillness. The next part that we're going to discuss is paying attention. But we do have to pay some bills first before we can get to paying attention. So let's break for commercial, and when we come back, we will discuss the second part to meditation, which is paying attention, after these messages from our sponsors.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be
Are you hangry? Know the signs. Uncontrollable yelling.
Why aren't you egg rolls?
Hallucination.
Sushi.
Pants discomfort.
I hate you, pants.
Hangry. It can happen to anyone. Fortunately, there's E24, the app that tells hunger to shut up.
Egg rolls. Thanks, Snoop.
E24. In my medical opinion, it's the best way to order food online, baby.
Hey there, all you creepy people. This is Kevin Wayne from Portland, Oregon. You're listening to Armed Radio, home of the big guns.
Hey Dan, how's the day going so far?
My day couldn't be better. You pull up less than 3 minutes after I open my Lyft app, and how do you greet me? With a kind hello? Just delightful.
Great. Care for a cookie?
A cookie? A chocolate chip cookie? You know, I'd love one.
Sure.
Hey, let me ask you something. How did you know I love this song?
I mean, come on, it's the Cold War kids. Everybody loves them.
Whoa! Who taught this guy how to merge? That was a fantastic merge!
Couldn't agree more.
That's it? That's all this costs? What's this thing running on? Smiles and high fives? You son of Mike, I love you!
Thanks. Have a great day.
Lyft. Driving you happy. Just download and go.
Hi, and welcome back to this week's episode of Talk Time with Val. We're discussing meditation, and while we were doing that, Amy Chifalo, who has Rock Talk with Amy after my show, actually she liked a post, so I went and checked it out. And there is a music video that is like, Joe made a music video where I'm the star of it. I don't even know the song. It's pretty cool. I will totally be sharing this. This is so awesome. It is my very own music video. Thank you, Joe Savino, the godfather of Armed Radio Global, and the main host of Night Talk with Joe Rocks, every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. So I will share that to you guys later. It's actually really weird. I don't know. It's pretty cool though. It's funny. I'll share it with you guys later. So let's get back to meditation. So Jimmy, when we're talking about meditation, right? We were talking about how to cultivate stillness, and I said that we would go into paying attention, correct?
Yep.
Okay. What if I were to tell you that when you meditate, you give yourself an inner vacation? How does that sound?
Yeah.
Sounds good? Or it sounds like hooey?
No, it sounds good.
Well, meditation is very simple. Meditation is simply attending. Now listen to the word that I'm using, okay? Attending. You know what the word attending means, right?
Tending to. Or
it's being present or dealing with.
Being present.
Yeah. Yeah. Just being present and dealing with something. You can begin by attending to your breath. So you're dealing with your breath. You're paying attention to your breath. And then if a thought comes, attend to it. Pay attention to it. Notice it. Be open to it. And it will pass. So let's say you're sitting there, you're trying to find your Zen space, and suddenly, you start thinking about that crazy music video that Josephino posted, and how weird it looked because your jaw is unhinging to sing, right? Okay, attend to it. but doesn't mean that you have to get up and go and do something about it. You forgot to post it. I forgot to post it. Oops. Okay, I'll do it after. I have just taken notice of, paid attention to the thought that I had. I was open to the thought, and then it passed, and I started to come back to my breath. So if you have these thoughts in your head, something's racing through, then don't try to force yourself not to think about it. Think it through, but don't actually get up and do anything about it. Once you've thought it through, then you can say to yourself, okay, I need to come back to my breath. And you start focusing on your breathing again. The normal response is to react to all of your thoughts, and this keeps you ever busy in a sea of confusion. Meditation teaches you to attend to what is taking place within without reacting. And this makes all the difference in the world. It brings you freedom from the mind and its meandering. And in this freedom, you begin to experience who you are. This is distinct from your mental turmoil. You experience inner joy and content. You experience relief and inner relaxation. And you find a respite from the turmoil, the tumult in your life. You have given yourself an inner vacation. This inner vacation is not a retreat from the world, but the foundation for finding inner peace. You must also learn to apply the principle of attending in your worldly activities so that you can apply yourself in the world more effectively. Through practicing meditation, you can learn to be open to what comes before you in your daily life and give it your full attention. Ordinarily, you react to the experiences that come before you in much the same way that you react to your thoughts. If someone says something negative to you, you become angry or depressed. If you lose something, you become emotionally upset. Your mood depends on what comes before you, and as a result, your life is like a roller coaster ride. You react before you have fully experienced what you are reacting to. You immediately interpret what you see or hear according to your expectation, your own fears, your own prejudices, or your own resistances. You short-circuit the experience and thus limit yourself to one or two conditioned, unlearned responses instead of responding to a situation openly and creatively. Does that sound familiar to me?
Yeah.
Is there certain things in your life that can trigger an automatic rage or, trigger you?
Yeah, religion, politics.
Okay, and what about sadness or, there are certain things that can trigger emotion in everybody, right? What they're saying here is that just by knowing that you have those triggers, you should be able to short-circuit that. You should be able to instead say to yourself, you know what? Once you're meditating, and you learn how to control your breath and you learn how to focus meditation, when those situations arise in real life again, instead of saying, you know what, this person's a complete idiot and I'm going to get everything I want to say, you can actually listen to what they have to say. And before, where you would rage out at them or insult them or whatever, now you can say, you know what, I heard everything you had to say. And personally, I don't buy it. It's not, instead of saying that's bullshit or, you know what I'm saying? You could just say, personally, I don't believe so, and this is why. This is my personal belief. I have every right to it, every reason for it, and this is my reasoning behind it. You can accept it or you don't have to. But at that point, Jimmy, you have not gotten angry. You haven't let the rage monster out. You haven't started screaming. Because instead of reacting and responding to what's happening in that moment, or instead of reacting and responding to how you think you should feel or how you've been conditioned to feel, you are instead responding to the situation at hand creatively and openly. That's what meditation does. It allows you to focus, calm, and control the mind. Doesn't that sound pretty awesome?
Yes, it does.
Now, if you apply the principle of meditation to experiences that come before you, you can fully attend to what is taking place. which means that you can fully pay attention to what is taking place. You can deal with it. You can truly understand it because you are present for it. You can attend to your initial reaction, which means you get to pay attention to and deal with your initial reaction without reacting to your own reaction. Oh, look how threatened I feel by that. Instead of feeling like that, like instead of just feeling threatened by something somebody said or getting angry, you actually say, oh, look at how threatened I feel by that to yourself. This is how I would have reacted before, but because you can now distance yourself from the emotion that is attached, the negative emotion that is attached to what they're saying, you can let yourself be open to experiencing your reaction, and it will move through you and allow other spontaneous responses to also come forward so that you can select the one that is most helpful in that particular situation. In this way, meditation is very therapeutic. It not only leads to inner balance and stability, but it also exposes your inner complexes, your immaturities, your unproductive reflexes and habits. And I'll tell you, it might be scary to think about exposing all of your inner fears and hurts and complexes. It's terrifying to realize just how immature we can be, how unproductive our certain reflexes and habits might be. But instead of living in these complexes and habits and acting them out, they are brought to your awareness and you can give them your full attention. Only by giving them your full attention, accepting them, will you be able to start clearing them up. You don't actually have to work on them, Just understanding them and acknowledging that they're there is the most amazingly cleansing thing. It allows you to realize, hey, I'm not perfect, and yeah, I can act like a giant child sometimes. I can be completely out of control, ridiculous, and whatever. But you know what? Now that I've owned it, I can deal with it, and it shows progression and maturity. It actually clears up on its own, and all of this is just from that practice of attending to your breath. Really seriously, just attending to your breath, paying attention to your breathing while your mind wanders, and then you keep bringing it back to your breathing. Just your breathing, keep bringing your mind back more and more. It designs itself for, you know how you have physical memory response, Jimmy?
What do you mean physical?
Physical memory response. Like if you are in the army and you are stripping a gun, it becomes second nature. You can strip a gun and clean it without even thinking about it, right? Bless you. Right?
Yep.
And there are certain things in your everyday life that you can go about doing without even thinking about it. You can flip the switch for the light. You can put a tea kettle on. You can make dinner. There's tons of things you can do without actually focusing and thinking of it, right?
Right.
That's a physical memory response. We've done it so many times that our body has a physical memory of doing it. We know how to do it. We don't have to think about it. It's just natural.
Yeah,
it's a
what
response.
I thought you were talking about is when you have a bruise on your arm, you don't know where you got it until you press on it, and then you remember the pain.
Oh, no.
Where you got it.
No. What I'm talking about is conditioning your body. You know how people can condition their body? We do it every single day. We condition our body, and we can do something without even thinking about it. Well, focusing the mind during meditation on breathing, when your mind starts to wander and think about other things, and you keep bringing it back to the breathing, your breath, you keep focusing back on, where is this breath coming from within my body? You keep focusing back within yourself, just a clear harmony within yourself. Just doing that conditions a focused memory response, so that when other things happen, where you want to lash back out at somebody, when things, aren't going the right way, when you have that imbalance and that instability, when your complexes, your immaturities, your unproductive reflexes, your habits start peeking out, and you're getting into a fight with somebody, when all that starts happening, your body's natural ability to calm itself because you have taught yourself how to focus on your breath kicks into play. Now, it's not going to happen every single time, all the time. It's going to take a while. It could take a week, it could take a month. It really depends on just how willing you are to realize that, hey, I'm not perfect, and how willing you are or able you are to just drop everything else and focus on that breath. So for everybody, every different person is going to be different. For some people, it could take 20 years. For some people, it could take 20 minutes. They could just get it off the bat. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with you if you take 20 years to do it. It just means that you had a lot more chaos in your life, and it means it's a bigger accomplishment when it happens. Because, hey, when you try for something and you strive for it and you make it a part of your life and you do it every day, that is an accomplishment. But when you don't have to strive or try and it just comes naturally to you, well, that's just a gift from God. It's not really a talent, is it? It's a God-given talent. It's not something you worked for. It doesn't mean as much. So anyway, that's my take on it. Now, meditation can be very therapeutic, like I just said. And it leads to your inner balance and your stability. It allows you to be aware of all the negatives that are within you. And then that way you can pay full attention to them. And by attending to them, paying attention, focusing on them, you own it. When you own it, they will clear up. It starts fixing itself. When you realize, you know what, this is really childish, I shouldn't behave like that, and you have that aha moment, it's no longer you having to work on it. If you're embarrassed by something, you're never going to want to do it again. And it takes on that connotation. It just clears up. It really does. Okay. Signs of progress. How do you know that you're progressing in your meditation? Have patience and do your practice systematically. Every action has a reaction. It is not possible for you to meditate and not receive benefits. You may not notice those benefits now, but slowly and gradually you are storing the samskaras, or the impressions, in the unconscious mind that will help you later. If you sow a seed today, you don't reap the fruit tomorrow, but eventually you will. It takes time to see the results, but be gentle with yourself. Meditation means gently fathoming all the levels of your being, one level after another. Be honest with yourself. Don't care what others say about their experiences. Keep your mind focused on your goal. It is your own mind that does not allow you to meditate. To work with your mind, you will have to be patient, and you will have to work with yourself gradually. At first, you may see progress in terms of physical relaxation and emotional calmness. Later, you might notice other more subtle changes. Some of the most important benefits of meditation make themselves known gradually over time and are not dramatic or easily observed. Say that again. Some of the most important benefits of meditation make themselves known gradually over time and are not dramatic or easily observed. It's basically like changing your habits so gradually, day to day, that one day it becomes second nature. It's memory, it's rote. You don't even realize it anymore. You don't think about it. It just happens. Persist in your practice. You will find that meditation is a means of freeing yourself from the worries that gnaw at you. Then you are free to experience the joy of being fully present, here and now. So, Jimmy, I didn't actually mean to talk about meditation. We were going to talk about New Year's resolutions. But you asked a really, really, I think, maybe the best question I've heard in a long time. You want to know why I call
was
it?
just curious, that's all. So, a lot of it sounded familiar, so.
But you know
what I
why?
mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
I try to, you know what I mean? Take the thought and close your eyes.
Yeah, but the thing is like sometimes you have to deliberately think about something else in order to take your mind off the thought, right?
Yep.
And what meditation is saying is instead of thinking about something else, because you're not going to make yourself think about the same thing over and over. Make it something mundane. Instead of trying to force yourself to go to your happy place, make it something mundane. Focus on the actual movement of your lungs and your diaphragm as you're breathing your air in. That's something completely neutral, right? It's not trying to force yourself to go from being depressed, angry, sad, rage-filled to being calm and happy immediately. It has nothing to do with emotion. It is simply focusing on an act. Yeah?
Yeah, the breathing helps a lot.
It really
when I do the
does.
deep breaths and let them all out, because even when I don't think there's any more, I cough and more comes out.
And I have this thing where I start off with focusing. I focus saying, breathe in the good, exhale the bad. Breathe in the good, exhale the bad. And I focus because right at that point I'm trying to change the energy flow, right? But then after a minute or two, I can start focusing on, I stop thinking that, and I start just kind of focusing on the actual breath. I breathe in, and I'll start counting to 6, just to see, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my goal. Slowly count to 6 while exhaling 1 breath. When I can get to that point, then I start focusing on my breath itself. Because just the act of slowly counting in my head for my breaths helps me to regulate the amount of oxygen I'm taking in. It slows down my breathing. It calms me down. I take deeper, surer breaths. I have to straighten my body and be in proper posture to do it. The reason I think your question was such an amazing question. Yes, I said amazingly amazing. But the reason I think that it's such a great question is this. For my entire life, it never occurred to me to ask that question. I just took it for granted that everybody knew what it meant. And then as I looked into it just now, I realized, holy schmoly, a lot of people have really definitive ideas of what meditation is, and yet they never actually achieve a meditative state. So thank you for that question, Jimmy. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
And I hope that explained meditation to you somewhat.
Yeah, it did. It was a lot more clever than what I thought.
And it's really, really simple, isn't it?
Seems it.
But that's the thing, it really is. These New Age gurus and stuff, they take an old practice and they try to make it into something more complex so people have to pay for it. It's really a lesson you can learn in 10 minutes. Once you learn the lesson, you can't unlearn it, and then it's just up to you to put it into practice. And yet people pay $40 per class to just sit and meditate with a teacher, with a swami, with a yogi. You know what I'm saying? So why are they sitting and yes, it's good to have the same place and the same time every day, but you can do that at home. There's no reason to go and pay somebody money to think that that's the only way you can get it done. It's actually better to do it by yourself, because you have to take more responsibility. When you take that personal responsibility, and you don't have a teacher or a guru teaching you how to do it, and you realize and accept that it is just a simple practice, then and only then will you be releasing yourself from the shackles and the bonds of the blame game. The only reason you want a teacher or a guru is because you want to have somebody to blame if it doesn't work. But the fact is, this is so simple that the only person you could possibly blame if it doesn't work for you is yourself. It is an extremely simple practice. I hope that, I hope it helps somebody. I hope it helps Jimmy. I hope it helps
I hope so too.
You gonna try it then, Jimmy?
I was just doing the breathing while you were talking, so it feels better.
Good. Excuse me. And then, you know what? I think I will, I'll tell you about more ways to improve your meditation, if you'd like. But for right now, I think focusing on the breathing is the easiest thing to do, the best thing to do. And then we can go to the other things. And the other things would be, improving your meditation is basically befriending your mind, connecting with your inner teacher through the process of earnest introspection. Your whole life can be meditation, engaging in self-dialogue, practice witnessing, things like that. But in order to obtain your own grace and to revitalize your practice, you must first and foremost begin with the simple acceptance and realization of the breath. Attend to it. Attend to your thoughts. Don't try to shove them out of the way. Deal with them and move on. Alright, let's get back to what we're going to do tonight, which is New Year's resolutions, yeah? So, let's see. I think we started number 1 on the list, which was meditation practice, and we got a little bit sidetracked. But how about this, number 2? A really great resolution to have for the new year. Learn something new each day. Gandhi once said, I live my life in one way that is most fulfilling. I live each day to learn, and learn each day like I will live forever. I think that's really beautiful. I think that if you can learn one new thing every day, that it would be completely and utterly amazing.
I do listening to the news station. It's not just something that's new that comes up, but once in a while they'll present something and you go, I didn't know that.
Well, what about random facts? Like, are you interested in science?
Yeah, but not enough to watch a science show.
Right. So I'm saying, instead of focusing on the news or a scientific journal where you're understanding the transmutation of genetic factor X with blah 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 blah, which is actually really cool and I love it, but at the same time, you're not going to learn something like that new every single day, right? That's something you go to college for, and you take an entire year to learn the concept of something. No, when I'm saying learn something new every day, what I'm talking about is something small. It can be something as simple as the meaning of a word. It can be something as simple as, let's say you're a carpenter and you look through something from the 14th century, you look at what their tools and measurements were or whatever, and you learn one thing new every day. Now, learn something new every day. Let's see. Can I teach you something new today, Jimmy?
Yep. How to get into a deeper meditation, yep.
Okay, well, I taught you a little bit about the meditation, but can I teach you something else?
What's that?
This is gonna completely blow your mind, okay? Are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
If you learn something new every day, you can teach something new every day.
Okay. So now I'm a teacher?
Yeah, you really are. Listen. Excuse me. if you were to learn that fire is hot today, right? And then you were to turn to, you saw somebody basically about to burn themselves or stick their hand in the fire. Then you can grab their hand back and teach them that fire is hot without them burning themselves, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a simple concept. Fire is hot. They would have learned it themselves. But they would also have to go through burn therapy. That's the point. You learn something new every day. You can teach somebody something new every day. It might not be something as amazing as, saving them from third-degree burns, but it could be something really, really simple. Like this. I love to cook. You know that, right? I love to bake. So I've been reinventing new cookie recipes because John loves cookies and because this is the season for baking cookies. So I took a bunch of Heath bars and I crushed them up, and a bunch of Butterfinger bars and crushed them up, and I've been dabbling with proportions in cookie dough recipes and what would make the best chewy cookie, the best crunchy cookie, the best cookie for dipping that will absorb the milk, or things that I've been experimenting with, like how much baking soda to put, the ratio of butter consistency. But it's cold, right? It's cold right now, and in order to bake, you want your butter at what they say is room temperature, but what you actually want your butter at is about 72 to 75 degrees. And that's the perfect consistency to cream your butter. Perfect temperature, right? It's not going to happen if you have your thermostat set at 64, which is what our thermostat is set at generally, between 64 and 68. I wear sweaters. John runs around in boxers. It's a trade-off because he would like it much colder and I'd like it much warmer. But my butter on the counter will never get to that temperature. And I don't like leaving butter out because I have cats. So if I were to leave butter out, even if it's covered, they could still try to knock something over to open it. You know how cats are with cream and milk and butter, right, Jimmy?
I got heavy ceramic, so they don't bother with it.
Well, I get that.
If I leave the cover off, they'll go after it.
Oh, no, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that my cats don't jump up on my tables, on my counters, by my dishes. They're not allowed in my kitchen because I think it's unsanitary. If they want to jump up on the bench in the dining room and look at me while I'm in the kitchen, that's as far as they're allowed to. So I don't like to leave anything out that could seduce them with a smell to go and investigate to see what it might be. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want them on my counters at all. So because of that, I learned a trick. Do you know that if you took a mug of water and put it in the microwave, and you took out a stick of butter, and the mug was, of course, the mug is going to be bigger than the stick of butter. You have to make sure the rim of the mug is bigger than the stick of butter. You put the mug in the microwave and you microwave it until the water is steaming, like for tea or whatever. So depending on the size of the mug, like let's say it's a soup mug, because you're doing 2 sticks of butter, or a whole full stick of butter, it's a soup mug size. Okay, then you're going to put it in for maybe 1.5 to 3 minutes, right? Depending on your microwave. Once it comes out of the microwave, you pour the hot water out, this nearly boiling water out. You quickly dry the inside with a towel that you have waiting, the same towel you're probably holding the mug with because it's so hot. And you flip the mug over and create a terrarium or dome over your butter. Do you know that within a minute or two it will be down to the perfect temperature? This butter that was solid as a rock from the fridge will be, you can stick your finger in it, it will completely push down and be creamy and soft, 72 degrees. So within 2 minutes, you can have butter perfect for baking without ever having to take it out and rest it for a couple hours. That was my new thing that I learned that changed my life. Isn't that silly? It's such a little thing. But sometimes you want to make cookies, but you shouldn't have to plan 2 days in advance for when you want to make cookies. So now, whenever John wants cookies, I can literally get up, go in the kitchen, and within 20 minutes, because let's say it takes you a minute to pull out everything, a couple minutes to combine and you have to beat the butter and sugar. So within 6 minutes you're done. And when you walk in, you put your oven on. Within 20 minutes from start to him eating it, he can have fresh, hot, homemade cookies. Because as soon as I walk in the kitchen, I put the oven up to preheat. I start pulling out, my mixing bowl and the butter and whatever. I do the water and whatever. It takes 3 minutes generally from my microwave to warm the water. I tip it over. I cream the butter while the water is going in the microwave. I put the sugar. I take the eggs out and I set them on the counter. I crack them and set them on the counter so that they can start coming up to temp, because I don't like adding cold eggs to warm, creamy butter. Yeah, and it takes 9 to 11 minutes, depending on the size of your cookie, to get that perfect cookie. So, there you go. 20 minutes. In 18 minutes, it's out of the oven. You pull it off the baking sheet. I put it on wax paper, put it right there on the resting tray, which is just, like a grid, and the cooling rack basically. I just let it cool, and while it's cooling, I'm pouring glasses of milk and popping it onto a plate and walking it into the living room, and in 20 minutes from the time I left the living room, he has hot cookies. Can I tell you that changed my life, Jimmy? Because I used to literally have the butter out of the fridge in a heavy ceramic jar with the lid, one of those, the lock lids, the ones that come up, latch, pull down, and lock into place.
Yeah, like a mason jar?
Yeah. I used to have it in that on the counter to make sure that no scents were being released to seduce the kitties to come up on the counter. It was just a waste of space. Like, counter real estate is, expensive, right? You want to have just the perfect things on your counter. So, yeah, it changed my life. A little thing, like learning something new every day, can change your life. I hope my butter trick helps you guys out, because I'll tell you something. I love the idea that I can go in the kitchen and bake like a couple dozen cookies in 20 minutes. I love that. I completely adore that idea. Last night, he said to me, he's like, honey, I want cookies. And I was like, all right, well, give me a few minutes. I'll go make some just now. And he got caught up watching some show, and I came back in because I was actually I was washing up some dishes or something. And within like those few minutes, he had not just cookies, but I crushed up the Heath bars and stuff, and it was all crunchy and delicious in there with the chocolate chips. He went Nutter Butters for it. Like, Don was the happiest camper. Tomorrow, Jimmy, I'm testing out my new meatloaf recipe. So, we will have more to discuss. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that for Joe's show on Thursday. But anyway, let's get back to New Year's resolutions, right? Learn something new every day. Here's some things that you can do to learn new things every day. You can subscribe to Wikipedia's featured article mailing list. And that's actually pretty cool, because you'll receive an email each morning containing Wikipedia's featured article for that day. So it's a way to learn a basic short history of something for that day. You can watch a Crash Course video on YouTube. Crash Course is an educational YouTube channel started by the Green brothers, Hank Green and John Green. Each video is about 15 minutes long, and they cover subjects such as literature, biology, history, economics, and so forth and so on. So it's a different thing every day. And the cherry on top is that the videos are fun to watch. You can watch a TED Talk every morning while you eat breakfast. And, you can just Google it. There'll be a bunch of best TED Talks to get you started. What's another great New Year's resolution? Pick up a hobby. I'll tell you something about all these resolutions. They take time. Learning something new every day takes time, right? Whether it takes 5 minutes to read an article, 5 minutes to meditate, 10 minutes or 15 minutes to watch a video. It all takes time. Yeah? Picking up a hobby takes time. But did you know that having a hobby is good for you? Hobbies can lower your stress levels. In fact, Jimmy and I discussed something at the end of last year. We discussed these artisanal tables that we saw online, right, Jimmy? With the iron pipes and the retro wood. Jimmy? I may have lost Jimmy from... You remember discussing that?
No, I don't.
The black, like how easy it would be for you as a carpenter to make that table that they were selling for a few $100s, and you can make it for like $60 using just those black iron pipes.
Yeah, the black iron pipe. Yeah,
there you go. So I was telling Jimmy that he should take it up as a hobby because hobbies can lower your stress level, they boost your brain power, they improve your ability to focus, and a lot more. And the thing is, if Jimmy can actually focus on a hobby like refitting those bicycles like we were talking about for Christmas, or just doing something active like that, right? It will increase your ability to focus, it'll boost your brain power, it will reduce your stress levels, your anxiety levels, and you will feel productive. And here's the kicker, Jimmy, you can make money from it. Seriously. I mean, you could make a lot of money from doing that. I'm going to try to convince Jimmy to turn what I consider to be his artful hobby into a business. That's going to be one of my resolutions for this year, to actually set up that Etsy site so that Jimmy has to produce product. What do you say, Jimmy?
Sounds good.
Are you serious? Does it actually sound good, or are you just saying that?
We'll see.
We'll see. See?
Depends on what money.
Well, we will get a investor to start off with the raw materials, and we'll go from there, okay?
Okie doke.
Okay. Here's a fantastic New Year's resolution. Play more. That's right, you heard me. I said play more.
They said Claymore.
No, I said play more. As in playmate, as in playful, as in play. Play is an important source of relaxation and stimulation for adults. In addition, it can make you more creative and productive. Bring more play into your life by making it a New Year's resolution. In case it's been so long since you allowed yourself to play that you've forgotten how, I am going to give you 10 ways to play more and have more fun as an adult. Are you ready for these 10 ways, Jimmy?
Yep.
Set the goal of playing more. Start by setting the goal to have more fun. When we think of setting goals, we usually think of serious things such as losing weight, quitting smoking, making more money, starting a small business. However, the goal of having more fun is just as important as those more adult-sounding goals. After all, what's the point of being thin, having more money, and having your own business if you are not enjoying yourself? Decide what fun means for you. That's number 2. A lot of time, adults can't even remember what they like to do. Or maybe they've outgrown the things that they liked to do in the past and they haven't gotten around to identifying new things that they enjoy. If this is you, there are 2 steps you need to follow. First, sit your butt down and make a list of the things that you enjoyed doing as a kid. Then go over your list and highlight those things that still sound appealing. Number 2, Google fun ideas for adults or bucket list ideas. You're looking for ideas on fun things you may want to try. Once you have your list, just like before, highlight the ideas that sound most interesting. 3. Set a fun minimum. Just as you tell yourself that you're going to exercise for at least half an hour a day, and I sincerely hope you're telling yourself this, tell yourself that you're also going to do something fun for at least half an hour a day. In addition, do the following. Set aside 1 day a week in which you're going to have a minimum of 2 hours of fun. Set aside at least 2 weeks a year which you're going to devote entirely to having fun. That's like your vacation time. Now, let me tell you this. I think like setting aside at least half an hour for exercise a day can actually be your half an hour of fun for the day too. And let me tell you how. Exercise doesn't have to be jogging or running or lifting weights or whatever. You like to dance? Because I sure like to dance. I like to shake my booty. So, like, you would not believe how much exercise you can get by the craziest dances. You can do country dancing, line dancing, you can do salsa, merengue, you can, basically change it up, right? I'm not really a dancer, don't really much up for it. Find something that you enjoy doing that's active and work that into your exercise regime. That way, you can knock two things off the list at the same time. But you need to put fun in your schedule, and if you don't schedule something, it's unlikely to happen. So if you want to play more and have more fun, you have to schedule it. In addition, scheduling fun is an important part for your productivity. Listen, scheduling fun will make you less likely to procrastinate. Why? Think of it this way. It's as if you have two different people living in your head. One of these people is an adult and one is a little kid. The adult wants to get to work. They want to finish the progress report that's due on Monday and prepare the tax returns with plenty of time to spare before they have to be filed. However, the kid in your head has other ideas. They could care less about that report and the tax returns. The kid just wants to play and have some fun. Here's the thing. If you've ever been around kids, you know that you can't just force them to behave and sit still all the time. If you do this, they'll rebel. That is, they'll get in the way when you're trying to work. If you want a kid to sit still, you have to promise them a reward, and the reward is playtime. If the kid knows that there's an ice skating scheduled at 3 p.m., or that you're going dancing at 8 p.m., or that you're going to spend all of Saturday afternoon building model airplanes, then the kid will calm down and allow the adult to work until that time. By scheduling fun, both the adult and the kid in your head will win. In order to make sure that you achieve your goal of having more fun and playing more, schedule it. Now, Jimmy, does that make sense? Because I think it's common sense, but I don't know if I explained it correctly.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Good. So what did you get by it?
I don't know.
Words. Basically, what I'm saying is this. You have two people inside you. You have the adult that knows what you have to get done. You have the kid that really doesn't want to get any of that done.
Right.
If you've ever been around kids, you know that the only way you can get a kid to calm down and stop being hyper and bugging you is to promise them something, right? Like if you sit down, you buckle down, you do all your homework, Jimmy, then I will take you to get the biggest grow light you've ever seen. Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
And because you know there's a reward coming, you're going to calm down, you're going to focus, you're going to do your homework real good, right?
Sounds good.
There you go. And that's what you have to do. You've got to tell yourself, hey, I'm going to have the most awesome, decadent, delicious morsel of beautiful, rich, dark chocolate at 5 p.m. And then I'm going to have a dry martini or a good glass of dark red, deep wine. I'm going to relax, take my shoes off, soak my feet, get a foot rub. If I tell myself I have that to look forward to, then I'm not going to be putting off my work. You get what I'm saying? I'm going to get my work done. Also, another idea on how to not procrastinate on playing is to create a play drawer. A while back, there was a book called Simple Abundance, a daybook of comfort and joy. This was written by Sarah Ban Breathnacker. She spent several months on the New York Times best-selling list, actually. So maybe go look for the book, Simple Abundance. One of the things that Ban Breathnacker recommends in her book is to create a comfort drawer to stockpile small indulgences for those nights when you feel as if you'd like to pull the covers over your head and never come out. It should include items to pamper yourself, however you view pampering. Using the comfort drawer as inspiration creates a play drawer for those times when you need a break from work and you just want to be silly for a little while. Here are some ideas for things you can include in your play draw. Jigsaw puzzles. They're boring. For me. Actually, they're not that boring, but they take time, and I'm so OCD, I'll want to get it all done in one sitting, so not for me. Coloring books for adults. That can actually be pretty interesting. Adult coloring book sales are skyrocketing. After all, coloring is an absorbing and relaxing activity. Some of the best sellers on Amazon include Secret Garden, An Inky Treasure Hunt and Coloring Book, and Enchanted Forest, an Inky Quest and Coloring Book. There's Play-Doh, and now there's Play-Doh for adults. But I think the kids' version is great. There's Legos, Build Yourself Something. You know, when you have a few minutes to spare here and there, open your drawer and pick out something and play. For me, something relaxing to play is like word games. I love them. Crossword puzzles, Sudoku, but you want to deactivate your mind, right? So whatever you like, whatever, appeals to you, whatever feels child-friendly, kid-friendly, something you like to do as a kid that you can do now, put that in your play draw and pull it out when you need to relax. 6. Combine fun with other activities. Think of the things on your to-do list and then look for ways to make them fun. For example, I've already mentioned exercise. When most people think of exercise, they think of self-sacrifice and drudgery. However, exercise can be so much fun. Here's some ideas. Shop around for an exercise class that you enjoy. You can try Soul Cycle, Zumba, pole dancing. Pole dancing is a lot of fun, trust me, and so on. Don't stop until you find a class that feels like play to you. Join a sports team. If you love to play soccer or baseball as a kid, find a team of adults and just join it. Gamify your exercise. As an illustration, if you jog, get an app that lets you pretend that you're being chased by zombies. You'll be staying fit, surviving a zombie apocalypse, and having fun all at the same time. Remember bouncy castles? Those were so much fun. The adult equivalent is a mini trampoline, and it turns out that rebounding is one of the best exercises that there is. Number 7. Have more fun at work. In my post that you will find on Facebook, it will be covering 25 ways to have more fun at work. And there's a lot of fun and humor in workplace, and there's a lot to be had. And it can be so beneficial. Just gather the studies out there that show how having fun at work has a positive impact on the bottom line. And prepare a presentation for your boss. In addition, volunteer to create and head a fun committee. You'll start having more fun at work and your coworkers will love you for it. 8. Have play dates with your significant other. And by play dates, I don't mean play dates. Although you can have play dates. I mean actual play dates. Date night doesn't have to be a dinner and a movie. Instead, you can go to a theme park, go on a scavenger hunt, or play paintball. After all, you'll be strengthening your relationship by keeping playfulness alive. Number 9. Befriend a fun person. The people you hang out with will have an enormous impact on your life. If you need to relearn how to relax, be more spontaneous, laugh more, and simply be more willing to play, look for somebody who's already doing these things. Then follow their lead. Hell, look at me. Jimmy, I'll be your lead. We'll have more fun.
Okay.
Number 10. And you know what number 10 is, Jimmy? The last on this list here? Hang out with a kid. Hang out with a kid. Little kids innately know how to play and have fun. When I think I need to have more fun, I visit my nieces and nephews. They never disappoint. And I'm not just talking about Zoe and our pub crawling, binge drinking, eating whatever we want, binge watching TV, fun fest. I'm talking about hanging out with little kids too. It's like they never disappoint you. You can play the imagination game, the juggle. You play games that involves hopping around the house, dance. They pretty much do anything. I mean, I remember the last fun play date I had with my sister's kids. And my brother's kids, I was babysitting basically, and we would play the imagination game, which I know sounds silly, but they're little, right? They were little at the time, like 3 and 4. So you have a kid on your lap, on your knee, and it's like, okay, this is the spaceship, and the rocket starts trembling and going up and down, and you make the noises, and then you land on a foreign planet, and you have to investigate. So you have to put your spacesuit on, and you have to walk around like there's limited gravity, and you're investigating, and you come upon this odd-shaped rock. Now, it's actually your couch, but you're like, it's an odd-shaped rock, what is this? Or you're walking around the house and you see a kitchen drawer, and it's like, what is this kitchen drawer? You would not believe the weird things kids come up with. They'll look at, the hinge on a door, and suddenly it becomes some type of propulsion unit for some space-age tech or something. Kids are amazing. One great way to just be a kid again is to hang out with a kid. Volunteer to babysit. I don't know. I mean, do your own thing, of course, but there you go. I just listed for you a bunch of ways for you to discover, how to play more. Now, we don't really have a lot of time left for this episode of Time with Val, which I was supposed to discuss New Year's resolutions, but I got really sidetracked. But, I will say this. There are a few more great resolutions out there. Just a lot of people say that they want to eat fewer calories, etc. They want to lose weight. You know what? Just make it a resolution to move more. It doesn't matter what you choose to do, whether you're walking or running or whatever. Make a resolution to move more. If you're buying pizza, don't have it delivered. Run over there and get it yourself. Just living a sedentary life dumbs you down. It makes you more likely to be overweight. It puts you at a higher risk of depression. Just move more. Just, I don't know. Go outside and pick some flowers, or toss a ball around, or walk around the block a couple times, or make it a thing that you do twice a week, where you go to the gardens, or you visit different parks, or whatever it might be, right? Like walking tours of your neighborhood, your city, whatever it might be. Make it fun for yourself, but move more. Read more books. Open your mind. I cannot begin to tell you how many books I read in 2016. I think John has it counted at about 253, but I'm not really sure. And I'm so glad that I did it. The time I spent reading was enjoyable. I feel a sense of accomplishment, since all of the books I chose to read are recognized as literature. Not really. A lot of them are, but I've read a lot. I like to read, right? Hey, listen. Do what you need to do in your own life to make yourself feel better about yourself. Make your resolutions, and you don't have to read 200 books. You don't have to read 50 books. Just read more books. You can read one book and take a month or 2 months to read that book. Read a couple lines a day. It doesn't matter. Just read a little bit more. Try, whatever genre you like. It really doesn't matter. Up to you. But I'm looking at the time, and I know that Amy is going to be starting Rock Talk soon, so we have to cut this short. Join me again next week for another scintillating episode of Talk Time with Val. And until then, I'd like to thank my producer, Jimmy. Thank you, Jimmy.
You're welcome.
And until then, until the next time we meet, I wish you a good week, a good night, and blessed be.